Hello, testing audio. This is KP4MD for the N6NA Slow Scan TV Net.
Audio is real low, Carol. I mean, my volume's down.
Okay, I'll go ahead and I'll speak a little louder. How's this? Any better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay, very good. So I don't know who's here. Do we have do we have a net control? Well, I guess not. I know N6YG is on here. Myself, KP4MD. Anyone else for the slow scan net?
November 6, Papa Golf, Quebec.
Alpha India 6, Delta Golf, Joel and Florin.
Yeah, I think that's it. I didn't hear anybody else check in. So I've got, like I said, N6YG, KP4MD, N6PGQ, AI6 Delta Golf. Okay, nobody else. So we'll go right to the top of the list. N6YG, I got you. Do you have a picture ready to send? If so, please go ahead.
Yeah, give me just a second. I was putting on my headset just in case we needed net control, but if you want to do it, that is fine with me. I'd rather not. Give me a second here. N6YG.
Okay, thanks for that picture, George. We'll go down to N6PGQ. What do you make of this picture, and how did you receive it? Over.
Hello, let's talk into the right microphone. I received it really, really well. There are very, very few pixel pops. It's a multi-kits board with looks like 3 BNC connectors on it, and I have no idea what it's doing. Maybe, I don't know, an input for a frequency counter or something like that. But it'd be interesting to find out what it is. Good quality, nice picture in N6PGQ.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll go down to Joel. AI6DG, how did you copy that, and what do you make of that picture?
Excellent reception, very slight moire, just hardly any pops at all. I don't know if we discussed this during the net last week or if it was afterwards, but I believe this is a phase switch, and the extra coils of coax are to create the phase differences. I'm assuming the white things are the little relays, 2 inputs and 1 output. Back to net, AI6DG.
Okay, thank you very much, Joel. Over to you, George, and why don't you explain to us what this picture is, please? Over.
Well, this. All right. Still getting feedback. Hold on, guys. Huh. Oh, I know what it is. My bad. There we go. I thought it was the radio for a minute. Doggone it, that's not very professional. Sorry about that. I had my HT on in the background to monitor the transmission and forgot I had it on. This is a mini kits polarization switch, and it's for I suppose you can use it for other things, but it's generally used for cross-polarized or circular polarized satellite antennas, and it allows you to switch from left-hand polarization, right-hand polarization, horizontal polarization, or vertical polarization. So basically it'll save you multiple coax runs into the house using one antenna. If you have, like, I have a 22-element cross-polarized beam same one that the Girl Scouts are going to use for the satellite contact. I have that same antenna. And so it's 11 elements vertical, 11 elements horizontal. Well, when you use this, it allows you to either select the horizontal elements, so you can be, for sideband, or the vertical elements for FM if you want to use it for FM, or you can do right-hand circular polarization, which is the most common for satellites, or left-hand circular polarization. Now, normally there's several companies that make these. If you try to buy something from M Squared, it's going to be like $600. They generally run $250 to $300. Mini Kits has these for about $60, and they're very popular. They're one of the few companies around that still makes kits and actually makes it affordable for the average ham to do this sort of stuff. They also have a preamp kit for multiple preamp kits with a TR switching in them. They have a 440. They have a 2 meter, a 1.2 gig. So I'm going to pick one of these up. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up the polarization switch first or the preamp kit. I think the preamp kit's like $61. And the 70 centimeter one will handle 100 watts. The 2 meter one will handle, I think, 300 watts. So anyhow, with that, back to net, N6YG.
N6KEN.
Okay, we have N6KEN. Do you have any comments on this picture?
Yeah, good evening, and yeah, you can add me to the roll call here. Like everyone else said, very, very nice picture. Maybe I can count maybe 10 black dots. Otherwise, it's crystal clear. Good image. Back to net, N6KEN.
Carol, I do have a comment here real quick.
Okay, go ahead, George.
So yeah, I resolved another issue with the 9700 on digital modes, and it's interesting on the keying. When you key in the back, because it's USB, it's got the sound card built in, and cat control. And one of the issues I was having with MMS TV, the new version of MS TV, is it uses oh Jesus, I forgot the name of the cat control software. It uses OmniRig, and OmniRig just was not handling it right. Every time it would key up the radio, it would key it up in FM mode, not in digital mode. So I had a live mic, and so I'm sending slow scan. And I can snap my fingers, and I can I can hear it on the monitoring HT and so on. So I went back to the original MMS TV, which allowed you to write your own cat commands. I had to do this for the Pro 3 as well, so I wrote my own cat commands that when it keys up the radio, it switches the radio into digital mode, so it kills the mic. And then when it's done sending, it switches the radio back to the original mode, so you can use the hand mic. So for normal digital modes, the other way works fine if you just switch it to digital mode and leave it there if you're doing WSJT. But slow scan is a little bit different than most digital modes in that quite often you're talking on the microphone in between pictures. Even on HF you'll talk. And so you can't have the radio in digital mode all the time. So I got that resolved, and so everything is working good. I'm back to the original version of MMS TV because OmniRig is not working. N6YG, back to net. If anybody wants that cat command, let me know and I'll email it to you.
I'm also on a 9700. Yeah, I ran into that too. I found the cat control. It's on my other computer. I don't have it on this one, so I'm gonna have to turn on and off the digital.
Email me at n6yg@qsl.net, and I'll send you the cat commands to put in MMS TV to fix that.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Back to net.
Okay. Yeah, very good. I have a question for you, George. Are you using that 9700 right this moment? Yeah, hello, N6YG, are you still there?
Yes, I am, N6YG.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I was asking you, are you using that ICOM radio right now?
Yes, I was. I used it when I sent the picture, and I've been using it as we've been talking.
Oh, okay. Okay, it seems to be working good. Have you been using it on sideband at all?
I haven't had a chance to use it on sideband. The best I've been able to do is tune in some beacons. KJ6KO's beacon, for some reason, is at 146.002. I thought it was at 144.25 something previously. I don't know what it's doing up in the FM portion of the repeater portion of the spectrum, but it is.
Okay, yeah, I've actually contacted him about that, and if you let him know, he'll just turn the beacon off completely. It's a defect. When it comes back on, for some reason it comes back on automatically, and it starts off on the standard frequency 144. I'm trying to remember what it is, 2 something, and then it goes up to that other frequency. At the same time, it's also transmitting on 222. The 432 beacon is completely offline, so he's just he just tries to keep it off the air, but sometimes it just automatically turns on by itself and it pops up on that frequency. He really doesn't want it there. So, but without that, there is no beacon around anymore. So, okay, very good. Yeah, the local 2-meter sideband activity is still 144.215. And on Wednesday nights they have the Bozo net, it's on 144.240. Let's get back to slow scan. Actually, I have a picture. I'm going to go ahead and send a picture now. This is going to be PD 120 is KP from. Okay, we're going to go back here. N6YG, what did you copy there and how did it come through? Over.
That came over very nice, and I do recognize that little. They got some pixel pops across the top, but that's just not a whole lot you can do about it unless you're running a lot of power. Doggone PayPause is giving me trouble with this, the downlink on the UHF downlinks. That is that little 8-band all mode that I forgot who it was showing it to us yesterday, and I'm very interested to see how that thing performs. Very inexpensive. Did you pick one up?
No, negative. I'm looking into it. I'm doing some research on this. Like he says, this might be perhaps a good option, but for a young person getting in. But it's kind of two sides to the coin on that with QRP rigs. First rig being a QRP rig is kind of a real challenge. Over to N6PGQ. How did you copy that, and what did you say about it? Over. Okay, okay, Bob, N6PGQ, are you still with us? KP from D.
Okay, I'm pushing my foot switch for my HF radio and expecting it to work. Here I am. Bob was one that brought it to the club meeting, and he bought it from Ed Fong, who spent about 5 or 10 minutes changing the parameters that came with the radio so that it would work properly. And the price was right, and it appears to be a good rig. So I'm looking forward to going to his house and playing with the silly thing. Picture quality, there you could hear the pixel pops on the receiver, and you can see them in the picture. They're noticeable in the black where the microphone is in the transceiver, and a few, across in the white part at the top. N6PGQ.
Yeah, thank you. I'm also doing the same thing. I'm sometimes pushing the foot switch for the HF Reagan, expecting it to come out here on UHF. What I have to do here is I actually have to click on the start button on the virtual audio cable audio repeater to copy my microphone audio into the signaling line. That's the way I'm doing this, so that it feeds both to 2 meters and also to the YouTube channel. Yes, this is really interesting. I've actually seen it. I was looking, AliExpress has it in some places like for almost around $90. And it's incredibly inexpensive. The power, I saw a video that compares, did a power measurement into a watt meter, and the output varied anywhere between 3.5 and 4.7 watts, depending on the band. And my concern with QRP for a beginner is it can be awful frustrating. You hear all of these signals on the air nice and clear, and you try calling them and they don't come back to you because your signal is so weak. And it just really, you have to realize that working QRP takes a lot of patience, and you don't get immediate gratification with it. So I don't know if it's the ideal first rig for anybody because it might just be too discouraging, especially if you don't have a really good antenna, because any compromised antenna is going to give you that much more difficulty. Any comments on this picture before we continue?
Yeah, I have a comment.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the microphone, that's funny. 3.5 watts single sideband QRP is going to be a real challenge for anyone, unless you're rare DX, and then you might get a pilot. But yeah, if you're going to work QRP, you got to do CW. I mean, that's make the most efficient use of the power that you have. My concern with these is, receiver selectivity and performance aside, is the transmitter performance on these inexpensive radios. I have my concerns about keeping the bands nice and clean, and these cheaper radios tend to have real problems with phase noise, which is fine at 3.5 watts. Nobody's going to notice it, but it's the guy who decides to buy this and try to hook it up to figure out how to hook it up to a kilowatt amplifier, and then he's going to raise the noise floor for everybody. We'll see. It'd be interesting to see how it tests, how the transmitter tests out, and so on. N6YG.
6KEN. Yeah, this to me looks like a clone, an illegal clone of the true SDX, which is I think his call sign, he's in Germany, DL3MAN. I follow him on YouTube, and he's had a problem with Chinese companies making knockoffs of it. But I think his is 5-band. I think he said the 8 bands are fake, like it's not really 8 bands. But yeah, it's a neat little radio. It has its origins in the QCX Mini from Hans. Back to that N6KEN.
Thank you very much, Ken. Yes, I've heard something about those counterfeit knockoffs that were inferior quality. I've particularly heard with this type of radio that if you put it on a good antenna around where we are here in the city, it'll have kind of the same kind of problem with the Pixie, where strong broadcast stations will just overload the front end. So essentially you need to put a a broadcast band, either a notch filter on those broadcast stations or a really good high pass filter that will knock out that broadcast interference that overloads that receiver, because essentially it's a pretty broad, wide open front end on those. Has anyone else heard anything to that effect? Okay, yeah, I would definitely, yeah, I wanted to talk, I actually do want to talk more to Bob, KF6ABC, as far as his experience with this, before I go ahead and consider buying something like this and then giving it to somebody, expecting them to enjoy it. So, but thanks anyway, I thought it would make for a good discussion. Let's go down the list here. N6PGQ. Uh, okay, Bob, do you have a picture for us? If so, can you send it over?
Okay, I do. I'm going to probably switch gears a little bit and now have a topic of things you can't buy anymore, or at least buy easily anymore, and there may be some analog crossover. We'll see. This is PD 120 N6PGQ.
That's funny.
Okay, thank you very much for that picture. And let's go down. Let's see who next to ask. AI6DG, Joel. How did you receive this picture, and what do you think of it? Oh,
Excellent reception, very few pops. Continuing in the analog line, a soon-to-be extinct species of light bulb, incandescent, Sylvania 100 watts. Should we be hoarding these? Are they going to be worth something in the future? I'm not going to miss them. I think I've already been converted mostly off of incandescents for a decade or so. But I'm sure there will be lots of these hidden in cabinets and closets and garages for quite a while. Back to net, AI6DG.
Okay, thank you very much, Joel. How about N6KEN? Um, your comments on this picture and how did you receive it?
Yeah, I received the image just fine. Yeah, a box of 4 standard light bulbs. I, like Joel, probably like, I don't know, it's probably been close to 10 years. At my work, of course, I work for the electric company. I get really good discounts on the LED bulbs. And I have, if anybody needs LED bulbs, I have a whole big case of them. I probably like 50 of them. Back to net.
Okay, this is KP4MD. Thank you very much about that. And one comment I had is I have if those things would be worth gold to little girls that are trying to use easy bake ovens because I don't think the LED bulbs cook food very well at all. Back to back to you and 6PGQ's KP4MD.
Okay, well, I didn't catch it fast enough who has the LED bulbs. I'd be happy to appropriate a few. My experience with LED bulbs is they last about, I don't know, 6 months or maybe 8 months in continuous use, and then they poop out, and they certainly cost a lot more than incandescents did, but I guess they save you a little bit of electricity. Anyway, these are Sylvania 100-watt light bulbs. I have a few left, and I've been fortunate that the LED and compact fluorescent bulbs that I've had have not irritated my radio. So I have these just in case so that I can swap them out if all of a sudden I get some noise. N6PGQ.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Bob. Any other comments about this picture before we move on?
Yeah, those used to come in real handy for current limiting.
Oh, yes, that's right. If you didn't have a variac and you wanted to slowly bring up the voltage on old equipment so that you wouldn't blow out the electrolytics, you can have one of these in series with the AC power cord going to the equipment, and then put gradually increasing wattage light bulbs in series because the lower wattage ones have higher resistance. So yeah, I've heard of that sort of thing. Actually, I think I saw a setup like that at the ARL lab. They had something like that, so you could just swap out incandescent bulbs. Very interesting. Any other comments on this point? Nothing, nothing heard. Okay, so we're going to go down the line to the next AI60G. Joel, if you have a picture, please proceed. Oh.
What's their tone?
Oh my gosh, that was absolutely a horrible tone. It just had a whole bunch of um, uh, crumbly modulated buzz on it. You want to try it again?
Hang on, let me restart some things.
That's a very good pure tone. Go right ahead.
DD120.
Okay, thank you for that. I also want to announce that Craig Whiskey Papatu November down in Louisiana is with us on uh, the live chat, and welcome there to Craig. Uh, Nice picture here, like a handful of pixel pops, but a very busy picture. And we'll go back up to George N6YG. Can you please tell us what you received and any comments about it?
Well, it came over well here. There's a few pixel pops, but there's a Morier pattern in the background that I see occasionally in these SSTV images. If you enlarge it to full screen, you can see in the blue that there's just this, like it's echoing, like there's an echo. I wish I understood what caused that. MMS-TV or slow scan does not like green for some reason. It does. Green is a hard color for it to do detail in. Other than that, we have a fountain and what looks like a government building with a dome over the top of it, and this is an awful lot of foliage. I don't know where this is at. I think I'll send it back to net.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this place, and there's really a lush amount of foliage here. I don't know if this is anywhere around here. Uh, Over to Bob, N6PGQ. What did you receive and any comments? Over.
Well, I have mine expanded to about as big as it'll go on my screen, and I don't see a moire pattern at all. The blue sky is undisturbed with ripples or anything like that. I see what is probably a government building with a dome on the top and some kind of something on the top of the dome. Mine doesn't expand that much. Nice fountain in the foreground and perhaps a rose garden on the left side that are red roses and white flowers in the front. And it looks like perhaps the wall that creates the little water area there does not go all the way around, but it could. I can't see. It probably does. It looks like there may be a little bit of wall down in the white flowers. But anyway, it's a really nice picture. Be interested to find out where it is. N6PGQ.
Okay, KP4MD here again. I don't see any moire pattern in the sky at all. So I'm not sure if anybody else does. But we're going to turn it back over to Joel and have, if you could please explain to us where this is. Over.
This is downtown Sacramento. That is the state capitol building in the background. On the, let's see here, east side of the state capitol, which is the opposite end of this, is the park and the east wing, which I gather has been torn down, and they're rebuilding the whole east side of the capitol and tearing out a bunch of the park. So a lot of people are upset about all the trees that are getting cut down. And some of them are probably 150-year-old plus trees. This is on the west side of the state capitol, and this is between for the block between the Capitol and where Capitol Mall starts. Capitol Mall that runs down to Tower Bridge. Is this little turnabout with a fountain in the middle of it, and to the south side, I believe, is the Supreme Court building, and to the north side is the State Library, although I could have that reversed. They have this lovely fountain in the middle, and I don't know if it still looks like this. This picture was taken quite a while ago, but it does look quite pretty and calming with the water running and all the roses or whatever those are. Are they roses or camellias? I'm not sure what they are. Back to net, AI6DG.
Okay, yeah, this is KP4MD. So, in other words, there's a This is in the center of a turnabout, or what do you call a roundabout. So you've got actually a street going around there, and just from the perspective of the camera, you don't see any of the cars. Is that correct? Am I getting this correct?
It's a, as I remember, it's a roundabout, so there's roadway all the way around this, or at least most of the way around it. So if you're going, you can go from east to west or west to east on this street between the two buildings. That's to the north and south.
Okay, yeah, because you don't see the pavement of the roundabout. That's what made it look a little strange, having all that uh, all the flowers there all bunched together there in their perspective. Okay, yeah, I kind of recognize the dome, but it just the picture taken from this perspective. I mean, I don't think you would normally see this unless you were on foot. Not necessarily. I don't think you would see it this way exactly if you were driving in a car. Okay. Any other comments on this picture before we go on? Nothing heard? Well, thanks very much for sharing this. We're going to go next to Ken, N6KEN. If you have a picture, we're ready for you. Over.
Okay, this is N6KEN. I think I'm sending, well, it says Scotty 1. We'll try that. And there'll be a slight delay as I make a config change on my radio before transmitting. 1 second.
Okay, thanks. Thank you very much for sharing that picture, Ken. And let's go to, let's see, Joel, AI6DG. How did you copy that? And any comments on what you see? Over.
So we've got 4 colored blocks on the left side and 4 colored blocks on the right side with 4 colored blocks across the bottom. The blocks top to bottom on the left say QSLK. On the right they say KO3D. And across the bottom they say KO3D. Okay, what are we? On the top in the middle it it's not a block, it's just letters on a black background, yellow letters N6KEN, and there's a picture in the middle. Can't tell what the background image, but it says on the bottom of it P3N6KEN. Trying to look at the image to figure out what it's supposed to be. I don't know. It's round something with some figures in it. QSLK03D, K03D. Who's K03D? Back to net. Yeah, 6DG.
Okay, thank you for that, Joel. Back up to George. N6YG, how did you copy this? And any comments on it? Over.
Oh yeah, K03D. He's been around a long time. This is an HF image. This is SSTV on HF, 20 meters probably. And I like the image, the way he set this up with the QSL and K03D across the bottom and the side. And of course in the center, that's the image that N6K, that's the image that K03D received from N6KEN. He's sending it back to him. He's giving him a signal report of P3. That's the signal reporting system that they've been trying to get SSTV users to move over to, because the traditional 599 doesn't really work well with slow scans, so they have the P reporting system. So this is probably what we would consider like a Q2 or Q3 image, maybe better, maybe Q3 image that he received. So he's sending it back to N6KEN with a copy of the picture that he received. Is what we're looking at here. And I'm wondering if that Morier pattern, I call it a Morier pattern, it's little wavy lines like echoes in the image. They're very faint, but they're there. And I'm thinking that might be a form of multipath, might be causing that, because I receive it on multiple radios, multiple sound cards, different computers. So it's definitely something coming in over the air.
Okay, yeah, I definitely don't see any moire patterns, and but there is a lot of streaking in his picture, and if it's an HF picture, that's probably why. On it, in addition to all of the pixel pops that sound like frying bacon, you can actually audibly hear it during that transmission. So yeah, it looks like there might be a face in the center of the picture, like a cartoon face. But I can't really make anything else out of the detail that's in that center picture. So over to Ken. N6KEN is KP from D.
Yeah, very good. Always appreciate Joel's play-by-play commentary on the pictures. And yes, you're correct. Yeah, as we talked earlier, it's my first HF slow scan television contact I've ever made, and it was my very first try, so I was very excited. Those lines in the image on top of the PayPause were part of the original image that I received. There's quite a bit of QSB going on. I got this around, I think it was like 5 or 6 o'clock this evening while I was getting ready to cook dinner. But I was excited, and you answered my question. I was wondering what P3 was, because I always see 595 in SSTV, and so I had no idea if I was supposed to respond. So he sent out ACQ, and then I responded with my picture, which is if you go to my QRZ page, this QSL card, back in the day, you could go to, the QST magazine, and there'd be tons of QSL card print shops advertising that if you sent them a SASE, they would send you a stack of example cards. And this particular one, I still have it, the original one that was sent to me in the mail as a sample. I really fell in love with his image, and he happens to have it on his QRZ page, and I just copied it. But it's a little boy behind a radio, and he's giving sticking out his tongue. So anyway, thanks for listening to all that. N6KEN, back to net.
Okay, thank you. And wow, congratulations, really congratulations on your first HF flow scan TV picture. You had a lot of practice here on our net, and I think this is one of the purposes of this net. You get comfortable sending SSTV here, and on HF it will be a breeze. Uh, the thing though, the challenge though, is sometimes like there's two or three people sending at the same time on 14230, and they don't hear each other because just of the way the skip is. So sometimes you get some collisions of pictures. Uh, there is a frequency, I believe it's 28,680 or something around there, where 10 meter slow scan is, and the way the 10 meter band has been lately, some of those signals are coming in really, really strong. There's hardly that much activity up there, but once in a while you'll hear somebody sending CQ, or if you send CQ, you might be lucky and have somebody that's listening and they'll answer you back there. And those signals come in really strong with less power than on 20 meters. And which are you using the end-fed wire? What kind of antenna we're using on HF, Ken?
Yeah, Carol, that's my brand newish. Well, I bought it in February and procrastinated until not yesterday. What was it? Monday off, and finally slung it over the oak tree, and it's doing really well. Made a 40 meter CW contact. My CW isn't rusty, but the CQ flow was a little rusty. And then I did a JS8 call and some FT8, 80 meter SSB contact. Yeah, I'm trying to, I feel like a brand new ham again, even though I've been a ham for so long. But having this antenna permanently up where I don't have to go outside and pull it down every time I get done playing radio is really nice. And I have a quick question. So he sent CQ. I responded with my image, giving him a 595 with his call sign. He responded with this one. Was I supposed to respond one more time?
Yeah, I normally see that you would respond with one that says 73 to end the QSO. If you can get it through, on that frequency that everybody shares. Pretty much like when we finish this net, George sends a picture with a 73 and a Bugs Bunny or something. That is kind of like confirming that you received his picture and closing the QSO.
Well, that makes total sense. So now my job is to queue up some images for that whole handshake there. All right, thanks for explaining that to me, Carol.
Very good. Well, we're coming right up to the top of the hour, and we've done a complete go-round here. And if anybody doesn't have any questions, I think we'll go ahead and secure the net, and we'll reserve the last picture here for George, who likes to send one of his closing pictures. Any comments before we close the net? Nothing heard, so thanks everybody for being with us, and we'll pass it over to George so you can go ahead and tie the ribbons on it. N6YG if you're ready, KP4MD.
Alrighty, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do have a comment I forgot to mention. If you use multiple radios on MMS TV, Google a program called MM Switcher. If you can't find it, let me know. I'll email it to you. It will allow you to set up MMS TV on up to, I think, 5 radios. And you start MMS TV with that program. You just click on the radio you want to use, and it automatically loads the proper sound card and the proper ports and everything you need, and whatever profile you have set up for it. It's a profile manager. All right, here we go.
Okay, thank you very much for that picture, George. I want to wish everyone a very good evening, good night, and we'll be back again next Wednesday at the same time, 9 p.m. Pacific time on this repeater and also on YouTube. And I want to wish everyone also a very happy Veterans Day this weekend. This is Killer Pop for Mike Delta now off and closing the net.
Yeah, thanks, Carol, for running the net. N6YG, this is N6KEN. I'm curious, George, you said you also have a 9700. There is, I think it's literally on this day, on Wednesday nights as well, there is a D-Star image net where people basically do what we do here. They send and receive images, but through the D-Star network. It's on reflector 55 Charlie, I believe. Have you ever tried that out?
No, I'm actually new to D-Star. I've avoided it, but I kind of played around with it a little bit. I'm still learning on how to use D-Star. I think I got set up and was on one repeater.
Yeah, there's the KS6 K-sharp repeater. I forget the call sign. They're the only ones, I think, locally that's D-Star. But if you've got a hotspot, which I do, I've got a few of them, I get on there. That way I don't tie up the repeater. But it's pretty easy. I think it's the most easiest mode digital-wise out of DMR and C4FM, System Fusion. I think it's the easiest one to configure and use. Once you plop your call sign and register in the system, it's pretty easy. But yeah, check it out. Reflector 55 Charlie, I believe it is.
All right, I'll check it out. Yeah, I was on I think it was on 440. I have to look. I found a local D-Star repeater and it got programmed up, and so I watched a video on it. I guess I got to register my call sign online. I think I have that website up.
All right, and yeah, thanks for sharing that M switcher. I was just wondering the same thing because with having the two radios side by side, the 7300 and the 9700, I like to do WSJTX on both of these, and it's nice that you can just switch through the profile. But I was just thinking literally, like, while we were doing this net, I wish there was an easy way to switch these. So I will download that. Thanks again. Have a good evening. 7-3, everyone, N6KEN. I'm going to be clear.
Yeah, the program's called MM Switcher. It's specifically for MMSTV, and really all it does is copy and rename the INI file. So what you do is you set up MMSTV for, whatever, for the 9700, and then you close the program. You close MMSTV. You open up MMM Switcher, and you say Save Current Profile, and then you enter whatever name you want for that profile. Then you close MM Switcher down, and you start MMSTV again, and you create a new profile in there, and for the 7300. And once you do that, then you close MMSTV, open up the program, and save that profile because it reads it. Because every time you make changes in MMSTV, it saves it to its INI file, the current INI file. So, and of course you have to close it to unlock that INI file. And then the other program will open up, it'll read that INI file and it'll make a copy of it. And that way when you want to switch, you just open that MM Switcher program and you select 9700, and it'll launch MMSTV and load the proper file for it and configuration that you have. And so yeah, that's the only way. I mean, it's a nightmare to try to use the 7300 and the 9700 and have to you have to switch ports for CAT and for keying, and you got to switch the sound cards around, and So that's kind of a hassle to jump between them. This just makes it like a breeze. N6YG.
Yeah, I just downloaded it during that transmission, and it looks not too bad. So I will give it a go and see how it does. Yeah, because that would be it's a pain to have to go in there and change the COM port, and then change the CIV settings. So that'll be good. All right, thanks, and have a good evening. N6KE and QRT here.
N6